Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 101 of the Mugs Up Show, where today will be my addiction story part 2. Now, I'm in a perfect state of mind right now. I just got done running. I just listened to a Steve-O show where he interviewed Corey Feldman on his childhood problems with drugs and alcohol and abuse and a bunch of other shit. And so I'm really in that addiction recovery mindset right now. So hopefully that bodes well for today's episode. Now, yesterday I talked about what led and what drove my addiction to drugs and alcohol. I talked about how as a kid, I always felt inadequate. I felt like everybody around me was better than me. I felt unimportant, and I was constantly searching for that one thing or that one reason why I would be as important as everybody else, that one thing that could help me fit in, that one thing that would help me feel like I was accepted, like I was good enough. And so that leads us up to today, where I'm actually going to start talking about okay, well, what actually happened when I came in contact with alcohol and drugs, and what did that lead to? And so, the majority of all of that use came like high school and later. But I think it's important to start with a story that was much earlier than that. That was kind of, when I look back on my life, it was a total foreshadowing of what was to come. And what happened was, when I was around 12 years old, in like 6th grade in the mid-90s, me and my family were on the way to a family reunion at Possum Kingdom Lake in East Texas. And we got there a day early. A lot of my mom's close cousins got there a day early, and we all met at this hotel and stayed at this hotel before we went out to the lake the next day. And that afternoon, we all swam at the hotel pool. We cooked out. Everybody was hanging out, visiting, having fun. That evening, we all went upstairs to our hotel rooms, and the adults were hanging out in one room, and then right next door, all the kids were hanging out in this other room. And it got to a point where I think I ran out of soda or something. I needed to get another one. So I went out of the hotel room where all the kids were, next door where my mom was with all of her cousins. And I was going into that room to get a drink, but before I got to that door, I saw a cooler sitting on the balcony right by the hotel, right in between the two rooms. And I thought, well, there's got to be some soda in there. Well, I opened it up, and it was full of beer and wine coolers and Zima and shit like that. Zima was really popular back in that day. And there was no soda in there. I guess the soda was in the room that the adults was in, but I thought, well, I've seen Zima on commercials, and it looks like Sprite kind of, so I'll just drink one of those. I didn't really think about what alcohol would do to me as a 12-year-old. I didn't really think it was a big deal at all. I just thought, it's a drink, it looks like Sprite, that's what I'll drink. So I grabbed one and I went back in the room where the kids were at, and I drank it. And, it's really hard to remember for certain some of the details of this story, but I remember, I didn't just chug it. And I remember about halfway through that bottle, I started feeling really good. I got this warm, wonderful feeling. And I just kind of thought, this is nice. This is a nice feeling. And so I kept drinking it. I finished off the bottle, and that feeling just got better and better and better. And I seemed to be having more fun. as I drank more of it. And so, of course, naturally, the thing to do was to go back and get another one and drank it down and just kept feeling better with every drink with every drink it felt like. And pretty soon I was 4 or 5 of those down as a 12-year-old, and I was bouncing off the fucking walls having the time of my life. I had never felt better in my entire fucking life. It was the most unbelievable feeling ever. And I remember to this day very vividly how wonderful and warm I felt, and just how great life was, and how I had never had that much fun in my life. I mean, it was really a different experience than I had ever had. And that is what alcohol did for me. And it's what it did for me, all the time. People talk about how alcohol is a depressant. It sure as hell didn't depress me. It took me to fucking level 10 and kept me there. That was a feeling that I remember wanting to have again. Now, obviously, this was kind of a mistake when this came about, and I didn't mean to. I didn't even mean for this to happen. But that feeling stuck with me for a long time after that. And I don't even know if my mom knows that happened. I don't think she does, but now she does. And she'll probably feel guilty, but Mom, it was 100% not your fault that happened. That was a total accident. But that was my first experience with alcohol. And that experience is very similar to many of the other experiences that would happen once I actually started doing it on a regular basis in high school. Now, on to when this actually became more a part of my life. When I got to high school, I was that nervous, scared shitless, little insecure kid who was terrified of what was going to happen to me my freshman year of high school. I'd heard stories of getting initiated and hazed and all this shit by the seniors. I was scared to death. I 100% did not think that I was going to be accepted by anybody, and basically was just dreading my first day of my senior year. And so show up to the first day of, not senior year, freshman year. Show up to the first day of high school. No hazing, no initiation, no bullshit like that. None of the seniors fucked with me. But it was clear that nobody older than me really gave a damn about me. And I didn't get any attention at all from any of the older kids. A lot of my friends that were freshmen with me actually did. They seemed to be kind of popular right off the bat. And I just thought, man, I don't get it. Like, why don't people want to be my friend type thing? And why do they want to be friends with my friends but not with me? And then 2 or 3 weeks into my freshman year, something really special happened to me. And to be honest, even though this led to me drinking, I'm very grateful for this at this point in my life. It's one of the things that I'm just so thankful for in my life, because it meant a lot to me when this happened. But there was a guy, and I hope this guy doesn't mind me saying his name. There was a guy that was a sophomore, that his name was Jim Coffey. And like 2 weeks into my freshman year, Jim walked up to me in the hallway and he said, "Hey bud, a bunch of us are going out to the ranch this weekend. Gonna drink some beer, do some fishing, and I wanted to see if you wanted to come with us." And up to that point, I really hadn't had any interaction with Jim Coffey, but he was one of the cool dudes in the grade above me, and he had a shit ton of friends, and he was real popular. And when this happened and he actually walked up to me and asked me if I wanted to be a part of this and invited me out to his ranch for the weekend with a lot of other guys, like, this literally was the best thing that had happened to me in my life up until this point. And so, and it was like, I viewed it as like, hey, this is my opportunity to be accepted by the guys and like get into the cool club. And so it was monumental for me. So I ran home, asked my parents. Of course, they were cool with it. They always let us kids do pretty much whatever we wanted, as long as, you know, it wasn't something fucking stupid. And so thankfully my parents let me go, and I got to go and have a cool weekend out at the ranch with the guys. And like I said, part of this was going to be beer drinking. And sure enough, there was a lot of beer drinking going on. And this was my first big experience with alcohol after the hotel incident. And it was exactly like the hotel incident. It gave me the most warm, confident, wonderful feeling I'd ever had in my life. I remember getting 1 or 2 beers in and completely being able to inject myself into the crowd of guys that were out here at this camp out on this ranch. I was able to talk to them. I was able to have fun with them. I was able to relax. I felt like I was part of the group. And up until this point, the only thing that had ever given me that power was alcohol. And so this was kind of the beginning of me stepping into the world of alcohol and the world of, you know, drinking on a regular basis. I had now found something that that gave me the confidence to enjoy myself around people, to think that I was being accepted by people, and that would just basically start a slow roller coaster of things to come. And I think that's where I'm going to stop today. I guess one more thing I would say about this is that at this point in time, at the hotel, I was 12. I drank, I don't know, 6 or 8 Zimas. For a 12-year-old, that's fucking insane. That is a lot of alcohol for a 12-year-old to drink or be able to drink without even puking. That time out at the ranch, kind of my first party in high school, it was obvious that I was very different in my drinking. I was able to drink so much alcohol and not puke, not pass out, and it just seemed like the more I drank, the better I felt and the more I wanted. And so I kind of was I was already starting to understand early on that like 1 or 2 beers was just simply not enough for me. I had to have more. I had to take it as far as possible. So with that, I'm going to let all of you go. We're 14 minutes in. This is probably going to take fucking 7 hours to upload. So I might as well start doing that now. We'll keep moving tomorrow with part 3 of my addiction story. And before I let y'all go, I really do want to say, Jim Coffee, brother, if you're out there, I love you, I miss you, and I do want you to know that you were the first person that ever made me feel a part of the group of guys, and I'm forever grateful for that, and I love you. Mugs up! We'll see you tomorrow for episode 102 of the Mugs Up Show. We love you.